All right, so greetings from Las Vegas, Nevada. We're making our way down to Yuma from Oregon. Um, and to kind of sum up from where we left off, last time I made a video, we were back at the Mira Loma terminal. My teammate wanted to take about 5 days off to renew his visa and all that stuff. Again, he's from Egypt. And so he was able to do all that and go trick-or-treating with his kids and all that good stuff, so good for him. I, however, only took about 48 hours off because if you, as I've mentioned before, if you take like more than 3 days off, they'll throw your truck back into the pool, and it can be up for grabs for anybody else. So we did not want to lose Sharmuta, so I was fine doing a solo run. I'm not really too stoked on going home as it is. At this point, I'm enjoying the road, and so I feel at home here. But anyway, so I get my solo assignment. I'm supposed to leave Mira Loma to head up to Dinuba, California, which is like Central Valley. And so I make my way up by myself. I actually had to go to Redlands from Mira Loma, which is in like San Bernardino, and pick up an empty, and then make my way up from Redlands to the pickup in Monte Vista or something like that. Maybe not. But it took me like 2 hours to go about 35 miles just based on traffic, getting the empty and all that stuff, so I wasn't too stoked on all that. But it was a just-in-time load, which means you got to be on time for the delivery. Ideally, the pickup was at 6 p.m. I got there at 5:58, and then I made it to the customer, the consignee, at 11:23. It was due at 11:30 that night, so it was a Best Buy distribution center drop-off. So got it all good and done. Parked my truck across the street near Walmart, which is where we are now. We're at the Sam's Club, Walmart. There's both of them, same area. So we're just hanging out. But so that night I parked my truck. I went and got some Burger King. I went into Walmart, spent about $40 just buying snacks. A lot of Halloween candies on sale because it's good to, you got to buy plenty of meals on the road, but it's good to have plenty of snacks, you know, and you need sugar and all that stuff. So filled up on some of that, and then the next morning I get a load offer to Sparks, Nevada, and I get another one to Hayward, California. Both are more north, and I'm at the point where I need to go back south because my teammate is going to be ready to go by the time I get there. So I declined both of them. Then I get a call from the Lathrop terminal. They're like, "Oh, hey, can you go take this trip to or this load to Nogales, Arizona, like South Central Arizona, like right on the border?" I'm like, "No, I need to get back to Southern California. My teammate's waiting for me, pretty much." So I declined all that, and then they offered me one up to Fresno, an empty mile, 80 miles up to Fresno, and then back down to like Mira Loma. And so I accepted that, and I was pretty stoked on that because my ex-girlfriend from Chico, where I went to school, I haven't seen her in over 3 years. She actually is living in Fresno, back in Fresno, and so I ended up being able to meet up with her and going to have lunch at an Italian food place. It wasn't that great, but it was kind of cool just to see her for a couple hours. That's what's kind of cool with this job. It allows you the opportunity to see people, you know, across the country you don't get to see on a normal basis. So I got to do all that, and then I made my way back down. Trekked it up the Grapevine with a pretty heavy load, and then made my way back to Mira Loma. They had told me to go to Fontana to talk to dispatch, and it's like, why would I drive to Fontana and then drive to Mira Loma? They're only 8 miles apart, but it's about time, the time factor. So I just drove straight to Mira Loma, talked to dispatch. They're like, you need to call tomorrow morning around 8. They'll be available 7 or 8. So I just went to bed, and I think I watched a movie, just hanging out in the yard, Swift yard. And then I finally woke up. Actually, that night, I barely slept because I was editing couple of the videos previously, the You Are a Tourist video and the A Picture's Worth 1,000 Miles, episode 2. So I'm having fun doing that. Just a cool little way to recap some of my, treks over the road. No big deal. So I finished up all that good stuff, and then they tell me you need to go on a local run because the load that I took from Fresno was actually to go to Monte Vista, but it was due on the 5th, and at this point it was the 2nd. And I obviously wasn't going to wait on 3 days to go 30 miles. So they said, all right, that's fine, bring it to Mira Loma, and you can probably swap out for a local drop. And so at 8 a.m. I called them. They're like, all right, go find an empty trailer in the yard, and then we'll give you a local. So I run around the freaking yard, couldn't find anything. There's like 5 other guys looking for empties, and finally I called them. I was like, hey, I don't have, and there's no empty here. And they're like, all right, well, we'll send you to El Paso. I was like, sweet, I don't have to do a 30-mile, dinky little freaking run. And so I called my teammate Iman. I told him what's up. They're going to send us to El Paso. And then I get the load offering, and it's actually to freaking Oregon, Northeast Oregon. And I was like, all right, that's cool. We've been to El Paso plenty of times, haven't been to Oregon yet. So I accepted that. And it wasn't due until like 7 p.m. the next day. And it was 8 a.m. So we had like 36 hours. So I talked to Iman. He needed to wrap up some stuff. So he ended up meeting me at the terminal about 5 o'clock. So I just hung out and watched some movies. I watched like 2 movies. I'm burning through my iPhone 3G data, but I'm paying for food on the road and I'm paying for entertainment, so it's not that bad as far as my expenses. So he finally shows up, and in the meanwhile, before he even shows up, I went to go get a couple more tire chains because winter's coming. We only had 4 singles. You need at least 6 singles, or a single and 2 doubles. And so I pull up to the bobtail area. My windows are down, my doors are unlocked, and of course, safety first. I roll up the windows, I lock the doors, I get out. I go talk to the guy at the parts, and he's like, oh yeah, tell me what kind of bags you got, if they're singles or doubles. So I go back to the truck, and what do you know, I locked my freaking keys, both of them, in the truck. And I was like, crap. But fortunately, we were at a terminal. We weren't out in the middle of nowhere. We didn't have to get roadside service, anything like that. So I go talk to the guys in the shop, and the guys tell me, oh man, yeah, there's no way, you're gonna have to get a 2x4 and break one of the windows. And I'm just sitting here like, I'm not gonna do that, like I don't know what to do. So he's like, here, I can do this. So he pulls out this thing and a blank key, and just like well, I give him my truck number first, and I guess there's certain codes and keys for certain trucks, and he starts just chinking away at this key. He's like, all right, go try that. I go try it. It doesn't work. I'm like, crap. I go back. He wasn't there. I had to wait like 20 minutes. He finally shows up. He's like, did it work? I was like, no, man. He's like, all right, try this. Gives me 2 freaking spools of keys, like not universal, but. So I was like, all right. So I go back and I try every single freaking key, and none of them work. And at that point, I'm just like, all right, we're not in a hurry. It's not like, I got till 5 o'clock. It's about 10 a.m. until Iman shows up. And I'm sitting here like, what am I going to do, man? Do I got to break one of these windows? Like, none of this worked. I'm kind of sitting there like, not asking God, but I'm just kind of like, why does this have to happen? Like, what lesson is in this? And so after I checked every one of those ringlets, I said, screw it. And I tried that one he made me one more time. And I put it in, and I kind of shook it, and I felt a little clink. And then I just went, and I cracked it, and it freaking opened. And I was so stoked. So I took that spare key, because we each have one. And I took that spare key and I taped it somewhere. Of course, I can't tell you, but I taped it somewhere on the truck on the underside, just in case. So I figured maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe someday we're going to be out in the middle of nowhere, and we're going to lose our keys or misplace them or lock them in the truck, and that'll be our out. So really stoked that all happened. Iman finally shows up. We get on the road. We drive through Vegas. I hit up my buddy Blake, who lives in Vegas, just like, hey, we're rolling through, just through a text. And then he's like, yeah, man, eventually you'll come through. We'll have some time. So we make our way up through Nevada, see some snow, get through Idaho, see Boise, pretty boring. Get up through Oregon, which is pretty amazing territory. That's what I made the first episode, the route and the rhythm. I finally got my dashboard cam, the iPhone 4 with the $30 dashboard mount. So I got that going. And then they gave us a load offer back to Yuma. So then we're like, sweet. So we get back. We left around this morning. Way early this morning, and we made our way back down, got to the customer in Northern Oregon, about 80 miles from the drop, and then made our way back through Idaho, back through Nevada, and then we were supposed to fuel up in Las Vegas. So we stopped in Vegas, and our load isn't actually due till tomorrow 7 a.m. Right now it's about 6 p.m. on the 5th. So we just got done hanging out with my buddy Blake, who I hit up initially when we were rolling through, and went to Hooters. We played a little bit of blackjack. I was up like $100. I ended up leaving down 50. And then on the way, before we got here, we saw a Buffalo Exchange, and I picked up 2 new flannels. So no big deal, but we're making the most of it, and little opportunities to see people I've known for my entire life. And so next stop is Yuma, and then we're heading back to California, and then we don't know from there. So Thanks for checking it out.